I stood in front of a judge and begged him to make my husband stop wanting me. Let that sink in. I took my own husband to court because he wanted sex too much. Every single day, sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times, and I felt like I was slowly dying inside. You might think I'm crazy. What wife complains that her husband still desires her? But you don't know what it feels like when every kiss turns into a deal. When every back rub is just the first move in a game you never agreed to play. When every "I love you" really means "I want something from you." I walked into that courtroom, ready for war. I had my points lined up in my head. I'm a working mom. I'm tired all the time. Once or twice a week should be enough for any normal man. I just needed the judge to look at my husband, Michael, and tell him to back off. I wanted the judge to save me from my own marriage. But what happened in that courtroom did not go how I planned. The judge did not attack my husband. He did not say Michael was a monster or a pervert. He did not even say Michael was wrong. Instead, this male judge turned his eyes on me. He listened, he watched, and then he said 4 short words that shattered me from the inside out. "He can't fix you." In that moment, the ground under my feet shifted. This was no longer about sex or how many times a week. It was about something much deeper and much darker living inside me. Something broken that I didn't even know had a name. The courtroom went silent. Michael started to cry, and I realized I had dragged us into a battle I was never going to win because I was fighting the wrong enemy. But before I tell you what happened next, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now because this story is about to get real. And drop a comment telling me what time it is, where you are, and where you're watching from. I want to know who's riding with me on this. I walked into the courtroom like I was going into battle. My heart pounded, but my mind was clear. The numbers were on my side. My husband, Michael, wanted sex every single day. Some days twice, sometimes even 3 times. I wanted it once or twice a week. In my head, it was simple. His desire was the problem, not me. The bailiff called our names. My legs felt weak, but I forced myself forward. I smoothed my dress, lifted my chin, and stood beside Michael at the front. "Your Honor," I said, my voice shaking for half a second before it locked in. "I want an agreement about sex in our marriage." The judge, a tall man with sharp eyes, leaned forward. "Go ahead." "He wants it all the time," I said. "Every day, twice a day, sometimes 3 times. I want it maybe once or twice a week. We fight about it nonstop. Our home has no peace. I just want clear limits." I waited for it, the nod, the look that said he understood, that I was right. Instead, the judge's mouth curled into a small smile. "I can tell you," he said, "every man in this country is watching this like it's a Supreme Court case." The courtroom broke into nervous laughter. Heat rushed to my face. I swallowed hard. Was he joking at my expense, or did he actually get how serious this was? I told myself this was good. If men cared, maybe that meant this problem was real. Maybe this judge would finally make someone listen to me. Beside me, Michael cleared his throat. "Here it comes," I thought. "Mr. Smooth." "Your Honor," Michael said, his voice warm and calm. "This isn't just about sex. This is my wife. I love her. I'm here for all the good men who love their women and want to show it." The room softened toward him. I could feel it. People liked him. They always did. I stared straight ahead, my jaw tight. He sounded so kind, so gentle, like some hero husband. No one here knew what it felt like at home, how every sweet act felt like a setup, how every touch felt like a demand waiting to happen. The judge's smile faded, his eyes sharpened. "Do you love your wife?" he asked. The air went still. "Very much so," Michael answered, without a pause. The words hit me like a punch, not because they were new, but because everyone believed them. He sounded so sure, so honest. But when he said, "I love you," all I ever heard was, "I want something." When his hand rested on my shoulder at home, my whole body tensed. When he brought flowers, I started counting the hours until he reached for me. His love felt like a bill I had to pay with my body. The judge looked at me now. Not at my clothes, not at my hair, at my face, at my eyes. Like he could see something breaking inside me. This is not going how I planned, I thought. I was supposed to be the one who looked reasonable, calm, logical. Instead, I felt exposed, cornered. The judge folded his hands. "Let me ask you something about before you were married," he said. His voice had changed. It wasn't light anymore. It was focused, sharp. "Your relationship before the wedding, tell me about that." My throat went dry. Why is he going back there? I wanted to talk about now. About my tired body. About nights I cried in the shower because I didn't want to be touched again. About feeling like an object in my own bed. But the judge was already watching Michael, waiting. In that second, a cold fear slid through me. Because I knew whatever came next was going to pull something out of the dark that I had spent years trying to bury. The judge's question hung in the air like a blade. "Tell me about before you were married," he said. "What was your physical relationship like?" Michael answered fast, like he'd been waiting for this. "We did it right, Your Honor. We honored God. We honored each other. We didn't even kiss until our wedding day." A low murmur moved through the room. People turned to look at us. No kissing until the wedding? In this world, we sounded like a rare animal on display. I had pushed for that rule. No kissing, no touching, no lines crossed. I told myself it was holy, pure, smart. If he stayed with me through all that, it meant he truly loved me, right? The judge nodded slowly. "That shows discipline." His eyes moved to me. "How did you feel about that choice?" "I believed it was right," I said. "I wanted our marriage to be about more than sex. I wanted him to love who I am, not just what my body could give him." Michael's hand moved a little, like he wanted to reach for me but thought better of it. "I do love her," he said. "She's beautiful. She's amazing. I'm blessed to have her as my wife." The words hit a spot I hated. Beautiful, amazing, blessed, all surface, all outside. It sounded like he was talking about a trophy he kept on a shelf. My jaw clenched. The judge watched both of us like he was reading a secret language. Then he dropped the next question. "Tell me about your wedding day," he said. "What happened when you tried to kiss your bride at the altar?" The floor seemed to tilt. Suddenly I was back there. White dress, packed church, people holding up phones, the music fading, the pastor saying, "You may kiss your bride." Michael had leaned in, eyes soft, happy, sure, and I had turned my head. "She turned away," Michael said quietly now, in the courtroom. A few gasps floated from the seats behind us. "I was nervous," I snapped. "There were so many people. It was a lot." The judge didn't blink. "That moment matters," he said. "That's a sign." "It was just nerves," I pushed back. "Any bride could freeze." "Scared of what?" he asked. "Scared of kissing the man you just chose for life?" My chest tightened. Because the truth was ugly. I hadn't been scared of his lips. I had been scared of what that kiss meant. Like if I let him claim me like that, in front of everyone, my body stopped being mine from that second on. So I'd given him my cheek. People laughed. They thought it was cute, shy, sweet. They had no idea I was panicking inside that dress. He had waited years for me, respected every line I drew, and his reward had been a wife who dodged his very first kiss. He waited. I said now, my voice small. He honored my rules. "And you still pulled back," the judge said. "No anger, just truth, cutting and clean." Heat crawled up my neck. I could feel Michael's hurt beside me, heavy like a weight on my skin. The walls of the courtroom felt closer. The air thicker. The judge leaned in again. "Let me ask you one more thing," he said. "When was the sex actually good between you two? When did it work?" The question sliced through me, because I knew where that answer would lead. The sex was good. The words came out too fast. I heard it myself. It sounded like I was trying to prove something. Judge Williams narrowed his eyes. "You said it was good. When exactly was it good?" My mouth went dry. Everyone was quiet. Michael stood inches from me, listening. "In the beginning," I said, "like most couples. At first it was fine." "How long is the beginning?" the judge pressed. His voice was calm, but there was no way out. "Weeks? Months?" I stared at my hands. My ring caught the light. "I don't know. A few months," I said. "Be specific." It felt like he was peeling my skin back. "Maybe 5 months," I whispered. He repeated it. 5 months. The whole room seemed to grab that number and hold it in the air. "And after those 5 months?" he asked. I swallowed. After that, it got harder. I had the baby. Everything changed. He leaned back, thinking. You could almost see him doing the math. Years of marriage, 5 months of good. So, for most of your marriage, he said slowly, sex has been a problem. This didn't start last year. This is how it's been almost from the start. It sounded brutal when he said it that way, like I'd tricked Michael, like I'd sold him one thing and delivered another. That's not fair, I snapped. Having a baby changes your whole life. You're tired all the time. Someone needs you every second. My body wasn't mine anymore. I know motherhood is hard, he replied. I'm not attacking you as a mother. I'm looking at the pattern. Your husband has been chasing something for years, and what I hear is that what he's chasing barely existed. His words hit the parts of me I tried not to look at. Michael's shoulders sagged. He looked like someone had punched the air out of him, like he'd just learned our good times were shorter than the line at a gas station. I felt a twist of guilt. He's a good man, I heard myself say. He really tries. The judge watched me closely. If he's good, and he's trying, why doesn't it work? Why doesn't it reach you? Because I never wanted him the way he wanted me. The truth flashed in my mind like a warning siren. Those first months hadn't been passion, not for me. They were performance. Me playing the role I thought a wife should play. Me checking a box, trying to be normal. When the baby came, I finally had a shield. A reason to say no without sounding like a monster. The judge's voice cut through my thoughts. Let me ask you something else, he said. What does your husband actually do to show you he loves you? Not what you think he wants. What does he do? A new kind of fear crawled up my spine, because to answer that, I would have to admit that he did a lot, and that none of it was enough for me. The judge studied me like I was a puzzle with missing pieces. Your husband brings you flowers, doesn't he? Yes, I said. My voice was flat, cold. I didn't want him to see how much those flowers hurt. He writes you cards, poems? Yes. Back rubs? Yes. Even this morning before you came here he did something nice for you? Yes. The word snapped out harder than I meant, because yes, he had. A card, full of love words and you're beautiful and I'm so lucky. But while I read it, all I could think was, here we go. Another setup. Another coin in the machine, so he could hit the button later. Judge Williams turned to Michael. When you do those things, the flowers, the cards, all of it, is it real? I held my breath. This was it. This was where Michael would slip up, where he'd admit that every gesture came with a hook. But Michael looked the judge right in the eye. Very much so, he said. I love my wife. The certainty in his voice crushed me. Like loving me was the easiest, most natural thing in the world. Something twisted deep in my chest. The judge's eyes slid back to me. He'd seen my reaction. The way I flinched. The way Michael's words landed on me like stones, not flowers. Then why don't they mean anything to you? My throat closed. How could I explain this? How could I make anyone understand that every flower felt like a weapon? That every card was just a timer ticking down to what he really wanted? They're not real, I said, my voice breaking. They're not about me. They're about what comes after. What comes after? The judge asked. The evening going the way he wants it to, I said. That's what he means when he's being sweet. The flowers aren't love. They're bait. The back rub isn't to help me. It's the opening move. I know his pattern. I can see it in his eyes before he even touches me. Michael's face crumbled. That's not true, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. I love you. I'm trying to show you. You're trying to get what you want, I shot back. Years of anger poured out. You're Mr. Perfect with your poems and your timing, but I'm not stupid. I see the routine. Back rub leads to a massage, leads to your hands going places, leads to you expecting me to... Stop. The judge's voice cut me off. Not loud, but firm. Final. He looked at me with something I couldn't name. Not anger. Something heavier. Let me understand this, he said slowly. Your husband does things most women would call loving, thoughtful, romantic, and you feel like he's tricking you? When he said it like that, I sounded crazy. I just want to be loved for me, I whispered. Not for what my body can give him. And you think that's all you are to him? The judge asked. A body? I looked at Michael. At the pain in his face, at the confusion. I don't know, I admitted. I don't know what I am to him. Judge Williams leaned forward. "That's the problem," he said. "Your husband is speaking one language. You're hearing a completely different one. He says, 'I love you.' You hear, 'I want something from you.'" It was true. Michael could give me 1,000 flowers and I'd only see 1,000 demands. Nothing he did could reach me. The judge's next question came quiet. "Careful. Let me ask you about something else," he said. "Something deeper." My stomach dropped, because I knew what was coming. The judge pulled out a paper from his folder. His eyes moved across it slowly. My heart raced. What did he find? He looked up. "I see you both have a history in bodybuilding. You competed, both of you." Michael nodded. "Yes, Your Honor. We met at the gym. We trained together, competed together." I remembered those days. Meal prep, hours lifting weights, people staring when we walked into a room, the perfect couple, the perfect bodies, like trophies on a shelf. "That's an interesting world," the judge said. "A world built on looks, on being stared at, on being judged from the outside. Your bodies were on display." Where was he going with this? I shifted my feet. My stomach tightened. The judge turned to me. His face was calm, but his next question hit like a knife. "Have you ever felt like a trophy wife?" The air left my lungs. Time slowed. I could hear my heartbeat pounding in my ears. I could feel Michael's eyes burning into the side of my face. The whole room went quiet. I opened my mouth, closed it, tried again. "It's crossed my mind," I whispered. The words hung in the air like smoke you couldn't breathe through. Michael sucked in a sharp breath beside me. He'd heard it. Really heard it. "It's crossed your mind," the judge repeated softly. Not a question, just letting me know he understood. "Tell me what that means." My throat felt like it was closing. I wonder sometimes if he loves me, or if he loves what I look like, if he loves the person or just the body. We came from a world where the outside was everything. You were ranked, scored, judged on how you looked. And I can't tell sometimes if I'm his wife or his trophy, his partner or his prize. Tears started rolling down my face. I couldn't stop them. Years of holding this in. Years of feeling like a pretty thing instead of a real person. "You want him to love you for who you are," the judge said. His voice was so kind it made me cry harder. "Not for what you look like, for the person underneath." "Yes," I choked out. "Even if you gained 1,000,000 pounds, he said, you want to know he'd still love you, that his love doesn't depend on you staying perfect." Yes, it came out like a breath, because that was the terror that lived inside me, the fear that woke me up at night, that every time Michael said I was beautiful, it meant that was all I was. That if the body changed, if I got older, if I gained weight or stopped being this perfect thing, there would be nothing left for him to want. That I was only worth loving as long as I stayed beautiful. Michael's voice cracked through my tears. "I do love you, the real you. I fell in love with your heart, your strength. Yes, I think you're beautiful, but that's not why I love you." I wanted to believe him. I wanted it so badly it hurt. But believing meant trusting, and trusting meant being open. And I didn't know how to be open with someone I thought only loved me for the outside. The judge sat back. He looked sad, like he was watching something break that couldn't be fixed. "I can see it," he said quietly. "Michael, you're giving everything you have, but it's not landing. Not because you're lying, but because she can't believe it's real." He turned back to me. "Let me ask you something important," he said. "What do you really want from this marriage? Not the sex schedule, not the surface stuff. What did you hope for when you said, 'I do'?" The question sat there like a bomb about to go off, because I knew the answer, and saying it out loud would destroy everything. For the first time since I walked into this courtroom, I felt understood. Judge Williams wasn't laughing at me or dismissing me. He saw it, the pain, the fear, the emptiness. "I see a huge disconnect here," he said, his voice softer now. "You're not happy. I can see it on your face. This fear of being loved only for your looks, every woman knows that feeling. It's real." I nodded, tears still wet on my face. Finally, someone got it. The judge turned to Michael. "Can you feel it? This gap between you and your wife?" Michael's face twisted. He looked at me like I was standing on the other side of a canyon he didn't know how to cross. "I can feel it," he said, his voice rough. I've felt it for a long time. I just don't know how to fix it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong." "You're not doing anything wrong," I said quickly. Then I stopped. Because, was that true? I didn't even know anymore. I need you to see me. The real me." "I do see you," Michael said, frustration rising in his voice. "I don't know how to make you believe that." Judge Williams raised his hand. The room went quiet. Something shifted in his face. The kindness was still there, but now there was something sharper underneath. Like he'd been guiding me towards something the whole time, and we were finally here. "This goes deeper than sex," he said. The courtroom seemed to lean in. "This goes to the very root of why you two got married, what you each expected." My pulse quickened. The judge leaned forward, his eyes locked on mine. "I need total honesty now," he said. "Not what sounds nice, not what makes you look good. The truth. What did you really want from this marriage when you said, 'I do'? What did you expect Michael to be for you?" The question hung in the air like a blade over my head. Because I knew the answer. I'd always known it. I just never said it out loud. Never admitted it, even to myself. The courtroom was dead silent. Michael stood frozen beside me, like he could feel we were about to step into something we couldn't take back. My mouth felt dry. I wanted to run. I wanted to go back 30 seconds to when the judge was being kind and understanding, but his eyes wouldn't let me go. I started. My voice cracked. I wanted things to be different. Better than they were when I was growing up. "Different how?" He pressed gently. "I wanted to feel whole. Complete." The judge nodded slowly. Then he asked the question that would blow everything open. "Did you marry him, hoping he would fix you?" The words hit me like a fist to the chest. I actually stepped back. "No," I said automatically. I didn't." But even as I said it, I could feel the lie crumbling. "I think you did," the judge said. "Not mean, just certain. I think you came from a broken place, a place where you didn't feel loved right, where you didn't feel valued, and you thought marriage would heal that. You thought Michael would fix what was broken inside you long before you met him." I couldn't breathe. The room spun. He was wrong. He had to be wrong. Except he wasn't. "I wanted him to be everything my family wasn't," I whispered. The words ripped out of me. I wanted him to give me what they didn't. I wanted him to make me feel like I mattered, like I was valuable, like I was enough. Michael made a sound beside me, a gasp, a sob. Judge Williams sat back. His face was heavy, sad. "And has he been able to do that?" he asked. "Has he been able to fix what was broken before he ever knew you?" The answer was so obvious it hurt. No, this was the moment I'd been running from my whole life. Not just since I got married. Since I was little. Since I waited for my dad to look at me with pride. Since I was a teenager who hated being told she was pretty because that's all anyone said. Since I became a woman who thought the right man could heal everything broken inside her. Judge Williams wasn't letting go. His eyes locked on mine like laser beams. "What do you want from this marriage?" he asked again. This time his voice had weight. Final weight. No games, no safe answers. The truth. "What did you really want when you married Michael?" I wanted to give him something that sounded good. Something about partnership or building a future together. Words that made me sound normal. But the truth got stuck in my throat like broken glass. The courtroom felt smaller. The walls seemed to close in. Like every person there could see straight through me. Like I was standing naked with nowhere to hide. "I want to be fixed," I whispered. The words ripped out of me from somewhere deep. Somewhere dark I'd kept locked away. It hurt to say them. Physically hurt. Judge Williams didn't act surprised. He just nodded, waiting for more. "I wanted him to be everything my family wasn't," I said. The words came faster now, like a dam bursting. "I wanted him to see me the way they never did, to make me feel valuable, to fill the holes inside me. I thought if he loved me enough, if he tried hard enough, the empty parts would finally go away. I thought marriage would heal me." My voice cracked. I covered my face with my hands. The truth was so ugly, so embarrassing. I'd walked down that aisle treating Michael like a cure, not a husband. Like medicine instead of a man. Judge Williams leaned forward. His face showed two things, kindness and hard truth. "There's brokenness in you," he said quietly. I can see it, he can feel it, and you've been asking him to fix something he was never meant to fix. I looked at Michael. His face was crumbling, like pieces were finally clicking into place for him. All those years of flowers, all those poems, all those attempts to show love, none of it could reach me because I'd been asking him to become the missing pieces of a puzzle that was broken before he ever knew me. That's why nothing he does means anything to you, the judge continued. His voice was gentle, but it didn't stop. The flowers hurt because they remind you he can't fix you. The compliments don't land because they don't reach the wound. You can't receive love when you don't feel lovable inside. You've been waiting for him to transform you, to heal you, to complete you. And when he can't because no person can, you decide it means he doesn't really love you. The courtroom was dead silent. This wasn't about sex anymore. This was about a broken woman who married a good man and expected him to be God. Michael's voice shook when he spoke. I've been trying so hard. I thought if I just loved you better, if I showed you more, if I did the right things. You can't fix me, I said. The words came out like both a confession and an apology. I know you can't. I've always known, but I wanted you to. I needed you to. Judge Williams sat back. He let the weight of that sit in the air. Then he asked the simplest question, the most devastating question. Can he fix you? I looked at Michael. At the man who waited for me, respected me, tried everything. The man I married expecting him to heal scars my parents left. The man I expected to fill holes carved into me long before we met. No, I whispered. He can't. It felt like death and relief at the same time, like finally naming a truth I'd been running from for years. Then who can? The judge asked. I realized he already knew the answer. He just wanted to hear me say it. I was waiting for the judge to give me a solution. I thought he'd tell Michael how to love me right, how to reach me in ways that would finally work. I was waiting for a plan, a map, instructions that would tell both of us how to make me whole. There had to be a way, some secret, some approach that would finally fill the emptiness. Judge Williams had been so kind, so understanding. He'd seen the pain, validated the fear. Surely now he'd give me tools, tell Michael what I needed, show him how to love me in a way that would actually heal me. The judge looked straight at me. In his eyes, I saw something that stopped my heart. Not anger, not judgment, but deep sadness mixed with total certainty, like a doctor about to tell you something that would change your life forever. The courtroom held its breath. He can't fix you. The words dropped like a bomb. Time stopped. Those 4 words bounced around my skull, refusing to make sense, because if I accepted what they meant, everything I believed would shatter. Judge Williams didn't look away, didn't soften the blow, didn't sugarcoat it. You're going to be the only person that can fix you. The floor seemed to tilt under my feet. Michael stood beside me, but he felt miles away. Everything felt miles away except those words. He can't fix you. Not he won't. Not he doesn't know how. He can't. It was impossible. I had been demanding the impossible from him, from our marriage, from everything. All the flowers he brings, the judge continued, his voice gentle but unstoppable. All the poems, all the love, they hurt you because you're waiting for them to fix what's broken inside. And they never will. They can't. Nothing he does will ever be enough. What you're asking for isn't his to give. I couldn't breathe. My defenses were dust. Do you understand what you've been doing to him? The judge asked. His voice carried grief now. This good man who brings you flowers, who writes you poems, who tells you he loves you every day. You're destroying him, slowly killing his spirit. Every gesture he makes, you reject. Every time he says, I love you, you turn it into evidence that he's failing, when the truth is, he was never equipped to succeed at what you're asking. You set him up to fail from day one. Michael made a choking sound beside me. I'm sorry, I whispered, but it felt too small, too weak for what I'd done. Years of making him feel worthless when the problem was never him. The judge leaned forward. Urgent now. This man is too good to lose. Do you hear me? Too good. He loves you. He's trying. He shows up every single day for a woman who can't receive it. And if you don't fix what's broken in you, if you don't do the work, you're going to lose him. Don't give this good man to another woman who will actually appreciate what he brings. The words hit like punches. Michael turned to me, tears running down his face. "Do you even want this marriage?" he asked. His voice was broken, raw. "Because I can't keep doing this. I can't keep failing at something impossible." Panic flooded through me. Was this it? Was he leaving? "I do," I said. "I want this. I want you." "Then you need to get help," Judge Williams said, his voice firm now. "Real help, not from your husband, from a professional, from God, from wherever healing actually comes from. Because Michael can love you, he can support you, but he can't heal you. That's your work to do." He turned to Michael. "And you need to know something. Your wife's brokenness isn't your fault. You didn't cause it. You can't cure it. All you can do is love her while she does the hard work of healing herself. But you also need to protect yourself, because love without limits will destroy you both." The courtroom was silent, everyone staring. Judge Williams looked at both of us. "I'm not making a ruling on your sex schedule today," he said, "because that's not the real problem. The real problem is you came into this marriage broken, expecting him to be your healer, and he came in thinking love would be enough. You both need to start over, build from truth this time, not fantasy." He paused. "Can you do that?" I looked at Michael, at the pain in his eyes, at the love still there, buried under years of hurt. "I don't know," I whispered, "but I want to try." Judge Williams stood up. The whole courtroom seemed to hold its breath. "I'm dismissing this case," he said. My stomach dropped. "What?" "There's no ruling I can make here," he continued. "This isn't a legal problem. This is a heart problem, a healing problem, and no court in this country can fix what's broken inside you." He looked at Michael. "You're a good man, a rare man. You've loved your wife with everything you have. But you need to understand something. Her brokenness isn't your responsibility. You didn't break her. You can't fix her. And if she doesn't do the work to heal herself, loving her will destroy you." Michael nodded slowly, tears streaming down his face. The judge turned back to me. "I'm ordering you to get counseling. Real counseling. Not marriage counseling, individual counseling. You need to deal with the wounds from your past, the ones you've been asking your husband to heal for years. Until you do that work, no amount of flowers or poems or love will ever be enough. You'll keep seeing every gesture as a trap, every touch as a demand, every "I love you" as a transaction." His words hit like hammers. "And here's what you need to understand," he said, his voice getting harder. "If you don't fix this, you will lose him. Maybe not today, maybe not next month, but eventually, even good men reach their limit. Eventually, they stop trying. And when that happens, you'll look up one day and find yourself alone, wondering why no one stayed, wondering why love was never enough." The room spun. "Michael," the judge said, "you have a choice to make. You can stay and love her while she does this hard work, or you can protect yourself and walk away. Both choices are valid. Both choices are hard. But you cannot keep sacrificing yourself on the altar of her brokenness and expect to survive." Michael looked at me. Really looked at me. Like he was seeing me for the first time. Or maybe seeing himself for the first time. "I love you," he said, "but I can't keep drowning while trying to save you. If you're not willing to save yourself, I have to let you go." Fear shot through me like ice water. "I'll do the work," I said quickly. "I'll get help. I'll fix this." "Will you?" the judge asked. "Or will you go to a few sessions, decide the therapist doesn't understand you, and quit? Will you actually face the pain from your childhood? The rejection? The wounds? Or will you keep running from it and blaming your husband for not being able to heal what he didn't break?" I opened my mouth, closed it, because I didn't know. I honestly didn't know if I had the strength to face what was buried inside me. Judge Williams gathered his papers. "This court is adjourned, but let me leave you with this. Every person in this room who's married or wants to be married someday needs to hear what happened here today. You cannot marry someone expecting them to complete you. You cannot use love as a bandage for wounds that need real healing, and you cannot punish someone for failing to do the impossible." He looked right at me. "Fix yourself, or lose everything." Then he walked out. The courtroom slowly emptied. People stared at me as they left, some with pity, some with judgment, some with recognition, like they'd seen themselves in my story. Michael stood beside me, silent. "Are you leaving?" I whispered. He didn't answer right away. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet, tired. "I don't know yet. Ask me again in 6 months. After I see if you actually do the work." He walked toward the door, stopped, turned back. "I do love you," he said, "the real you. But I'm learning that love isn't enough when the person you love won't love themselves." Then he left. And I stood there in that empty courtroom, facing the hardest question of my life. Was I brave enough to heal myself? Or would I rather be right than be whole? So here's my question for you. If you were Michael, would you stay and wait? Or would you walk away to protect yourself? And if you were me, standing in that courtroom, realizing you'd been asking the impossible from someone who truly loved you, would you have the courage to do the hard work of healing, even if it meant facing the darkest parts of yourself? Drop your answer in the comments. I need to know because the decision I made next changed everything. And if this story hit you somewhere deep, hit that subscribe button and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes the truth hurts, but it's the only thing that can set you free.